good question. It is having remote jobs definitely, it's booming right now, right? Because of the pandemic. And a lot of companies are starting to figure out what this actually means for them. Like, could they, let me close this window. Like, is it legal to do it? Is it like, some companies have sensitive data, like healthcare data, that probably can't really cross boundaries, even if it's digital. There's like different ways to interpret that and whatnot. So actually what I did was, my first job was not remote. And I'll get back to this. My first job was not remote, but being a data engineer is one of the higher demanding roles, or one of the roles in highest demands out there right now. And this is a result because everyone was hiring data scientists. They were like, oh, this is the hype. We need to know what the data looks like and what kind of decisions we can make off of the data. But then they realized that they actually need to clean up the data. They need to get the data first. And, it's like garbage in, garbage out, right? Data scientists won't tell you useful things if the data is garbage. So a lot of companies started hiring data engineers. And it's honestly pure luck that I ended up in this role. I just had a knack for data, and data engineering in 2018 was still a title that people weren't really sure what it meant, and people are still figuring out. So it's still relatively new. And I think, just having that 1 year of data engineering under my belt in some of the more well-known platforms like AWS, platforms in the cloud, really helped me leverage my skill set and say, I want to be remote. Like, how can we make this work? So my second job was actually a contracting role with a healthcare company in the US. And I was like, okay, well, I know you're a healthcare company and I'm going to be a contractor. Is it actually truly legal for me to work remotely? And their legal department, they said, yes, you can do that. Because technically the responsibility is on me as a contractor. And so that's actually how I ended up in Mexico. Moved to Mexico City. I kept my LinkedIn profile in the US so that when I get emails from recruiters, they think I'm in the US. And it's just, it skips the whole, like, are you sponsored? Like, do we need to sponsor you as a, US citizen to work for us or something like that? It skips all of that. So I just keep my profile in the US. And, this third job, which is the current one I have, they were like, hey, I see you're based in Atlanta. This job is 100% remote. And we just need to, make sure that you're, eligible to work for us because we can't sponsor you. We don't have the money. And I was like, yes, I am. But what do you mean 100% remote? Because when people say that, sometimes they say 100% remote, apostrophe, like in the US only, like asterisk, sorry, in the US only, or 100% remote in your home, your specific address only. Because some companies are really strict about that. They're like, you have to be at your specific address. You may be remote, but you have to, I know, it's weird, but there are companies that do that. So I just keep asking questions like, what do you mean 100% remote and whatnot? And it was actually pretty easy. This was probably the easiest negotiation I had to do as it relates to working remotely. But at that point I had, 2.5 years of experience. So I had a lot of skill sets to leverage for that. So that's how I got to be a remote employee. As it relates to like finding jobs, I mean, job searches are virtual. Being physically in Mexico has not hurt me at all. as it relates to finding a new job or anything like that. I get paid in US dollars, so they don't do any conversion. There's no uncertainty as it relates to the conversion rate or anything like that. So yeah, it's definitely something that I would, be mindful of as you look for jobs. It's like, what do they mean by remote? And I would, I don't regret It's been nice, that's for sure. I hope that answered your question.